Hello. So I thought I would show you what I've been hacking around with related to GraphQL. So I got this idea of having a GraphQL module which exports its own connect, and that connect actually wraps the original connect of Cerebral, allowing it to intercept dependencies. So as you can see here, we are importing connecting query. And this is the to-do MVC app. Just playing around with it there. And what you can see here is this new tag called query, and it's a GraphQL query. Now the question is, maybe we should just look at it first. So when I refresh, you see it pops up hello world. And if I grab the debugger, we can see that a signal just called test now, this will be like query handled or query requested or whatever. This is triggered by the higher order component, like the connect itself, when it mounts. And what it does is that it passes in the query defined, the query defined here, and then that is run by GraphQL. You can't see it here because I have not made it available to the debugger, but it makes the query to GraphQL, and then it gets a response, and it inserts that response into GraphQL data based on the query. So the reason it put hello here is because we see hello here. And that's basically it. So I kind of like just messed around with this now, and like the challenge here is that what we want to do is transform this query into actual data paths. And it doesn't actually seem that hard to do, because what I'm doing now, I'm using, where is it, get paths? I'm using GraphQL tag, which transforms this query here to an AST, what's it called, abstract syntax tree, and I traverse it. And I created my little own traverse logic here, where I traverse, and whenever I find like a document, I want to go down definitions. Whenever I meet operation definition, go down this path. And then I can also add before and after hooks. So this is where I actually produce the path to whatever I'm traversing into. And then I'm collecting them if I'm at the end of that traversal, like that nested traversal. So I would expect, like, I just need to improve this related to understanding all the different node types. And that should really be it, I think. So that's one part of it. And then it's over here. What happens when the connect sees this query is that it uses the query and passes it on the signal to actually run the query. And then it replaces this query tag with a computed. And the computed uses this syntax tree or the result, like the paths, to build an object, basically, and populates it with whatever the query wants it. Whatever the query wants it to be populated, like exactly like what it does here. It's the same thing, putting the data into the state tree and building the object in the computed. It's the same kind of logic because it's based on the query. And that's a good thing about GraphQL. Like, the query is the structure of the object you want to look at, so it's safe to do that. Cool. And here we have, like, it's not much code now, and it's already like working, though quite limited. So there's still a lot of work to do here. As I said, like, analyzing the abstract syntax tree needs to be improved. Also, like, cleaning up the code for the computed and and the signal that is handling the query. Because what I thought is when a query is run, it doesn't only insert like the responded data, it will also insert, let's see, do we have GraphQL here now? So we have data, but it could also be queries. So like the query itself has a state object, which tells it if it's loading, if there's an error and stuff like that. So when you're in the component, you could say like data get status, for example, and then you could say like is loading, error, and stuff like that, which I believe is necessary. And it's really cool. We can do this very easily. And then, of course, we can use state blah like this. So we can actually compose it because that's already in Cerebral, which I also think is pretty cool. We can fall back to doing like a normal query like this. Oops, query. And we can still do this hello composing thing, but it allows us to add some more arguments. So that's like a fallback if we need it. But it would, like for API consistency, it's nice to just have the tag here. Anyways, okay, I won't talk anymore. As I said, there's still a lot of work to do here, but it's rather cool. And I think it's a really nice way of integrating it with Cerebral. And of course, you can always just use the GraphQL provider to just run your own query wherever you want inside an action. No problems doing that. And yeah, and mutations will be the same thing. Like you do GraphQL mutation or something, and then you have the mutation query. And there we could do like optimistic updates and whatever. Yes. Cool. Thanks for watching. And please, yeah, and of course normalizing and denormalizing. That's the next thing to play around with, to have a proof of concept of. So yeah, anyways, thanks for listening.